Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. The busy instinctively breed vasanas, more layers on their personality. The busy instinctively breed more vasanas. Conversely, the engaged vigilantly burn vasanas. The engaged vigilantly burn vasanas, clear layers on their personality. Meaningful Mornings is a workshop to develop vigilance, to live more carefully, starting in our outer world and evolving to our inner world, particularly to be able to watch your own thoughts. If you have a destructive thought, to just let it go. If you have a constructive thought, to fuel this. Chapter 9, the focus is now even more strong on bhakti and some impactful words that Sri Krishna has used in the recent verses. He used in verse 13, ashrita. Ashrita means to resort to. This becomes one's foundation. I'm going to read a couple of insights from Pujya Swami Chinmayananda about what it means to resort to devotion. The silent adoration of society by the social workers, or the steady flow of love that beams out from a human of knowledge for the entire kingdom of the living, constitute a greater and more potent type of kirtana than the type indulged in by the noisy. Another insight. The path of knowledge knows no flower throwing or chandana sprinkling methods of ritualistic worship. To keep in the mind an alert and vigilant flow of thoughts in our adoration for the nature of the self as the substratum of the entire universe and the essence in all beings is the truest worship that can open up the buds of our egocentric lives into blossoms of God-men, wafting their fragrance of perfection around. Why I read these insights is because if we live instinctively, what is devotion? Devotion is externalized. If we live vigilantly, then devotion is internalized. In verse 14, Sri Krishna uses the word namaskara. In English, namaskara can mean to bow. And the implication of this is to bow out. When I bow before my master, before my parent, I am bowing out those personality layers that hold me back from feeling I am divine. Bowing is a great practice in letting go of what you are not. In verse 15, Sri Krishna uses the word upasana. Upasana means to sit near. When one sits near one who can see, we start to see what they can. Upasana in this chapter is presented as bhakti that helps jnana, a devotion that helps one to know that they are divine. Meaningful mornings, exploring Bhagavad Gita, is most practical. Ashrita, namaskara, upasana. If you find this to be impractical, this is possibly because you're looking for a hack. You're looking for a short-term solution to a long-term problem, and there's a misalignment in that. Our problems are one of stress, anxiety, dejection. This is moha, bhaya, shoka. This came into our personality slowly and deeply. It is only through reflection that a real and personal solution can be nurtured, that is to be implemented and felt slowly and deeply. If you reflect, every word is most potent. If you don't reflect, factually, Sri Krishna can be right beside you, teaching you the same, and still one will deflect, feel that this is for someone else. Verse 16. Can you remind me in verse 12 what word was used again and again and again to represent vanity? What was that word? Mogha. And mogha means one who feels they're the doer. Sri Krishna blows that notion out of the water in verse 16. Aham kratur aham yajnaha swadhaham aham aushadam mantroham ahame vajyam aham agnir aham hutam. Does this verse sound familiar to another verse that we've studied? You're all thinking, yes, Vivekji, every verse. They're all synonyms with each other. This verse is a prototype of, that's right, chapter 4, verse 24, the foremost verse, Brahmar Panam Brahma Havihi. When we explored this in chapter 4, verse 24, the teaching was to feel that one is not the doer, rather one is being divinity. Shri Krishna shares the same here, but actually elaborates, takes up more of doing and explaining how to be. Be ready in the chat. I'm going to ask you what these words mean. Shri Krishna says, Aham kratuhu. Anyone want to guess what kratuhu means? Sounds like a nice athlete name. I am Kratu. Like a Marvel name, no? Kratu means dedication. Kratu means dedication. It is a ritualistic word for yajna. I've already shared that. Yajna means we start with dedication. And there's a whole sequence to this, okay? We've started off with dedication. Next. Aham yajnaha. English word for yajna. If there's dedication, what does that pull? Sacrifice. Good. Shri Krishna is the dedication. Shri Krishna is the sacrifice. Swadha, you may not know, but swaha, you may know. Show me swaha. Yeah, really, you should be rubbing your eyes because all of that smoke is getting into your eyes, correct? That's what swaha is. Swaha is when you offer that which is to go to the semi-gods. Swadha is that which you offer to go to your ancestors, to your lineage. And so the implication here is creation. I'm created, the generation younger than me is created, the generation older than me is created. Shri Krishna is the dedication, is the sacrifice that comes with that, is the sacrifice to creation. Then, aham aushadam. What does aushadam mean? Medicine. Good, 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 good. You know, if you know these words, good, and if you don't know these words, what do you think I'm going to say? Good. All is fine. This is just to encourage reflection, as I mentioned. Aushadam does mean medicine. Many times when we engage in nature or if we facilitate rituals, we first offer medicinal herbs into that ritual as a catalyst. As a catalyst. For those in Srimad Bhagavatam, before the Milky Ocean was churned, what was offered? Aushadam. Okay? So the teaching for us, be dedicated. If you're dedicated, you will sacrifice yourself. For whom? Creation. As you're doing this, the more you do this, the more you do this, that's the catalyst. Do you like this first line? Okay, next line. Mantra aham. What does mantra mean? Mantra means mantra, correct? Mantra means, and your answers are great, put simply, mantra means reflection. When you reflect, you are protected. Mantra means reflection. As one is engaged in living or a ritual, what should one be doing? Reflecting on oneself. Aham eva ajyam. Any guesses for ajyam? This is a uniquely Indian origin word. Yeah, ghee or clarified butter. You know, like when I tell my friends, I eat rice with clarified butter. What? Is that a brand? It is butter that essentially is boiled, where only the essence is there. And now the connection for us, the more you reflect, the more you tune into the essence. The more you know what's important and what's not important. Aham agnihi. This word we've come across many times. Where is this ghee going? Where is this clarified butter going? Into the fire. What part of your personality, what part of who you are is like fire? Tell me. Yes, your ego. That's good reflecting. I was waiting for some to say digestive system, some to share how they talk. Really, it is our spirit. Our spirit is of the nature of light. One of the original sources of light is fire. And finally, aham hutam, which means in this context, all. All. So imagine you show up at a ritual. What should the train of thought be? Dedication, sacrifice, creation, catalyst, reflection, essence, spirit. You went from dedication to spirit. Now apply that to your school, to your workplace. Many of you are at work right now. You're commuting to work. How should you be? Dedicated. What should you feel? Why are you doing this? What is the fulfillment? Spirit. Shri Krishna concludes by sharing all. That means you are not the ego. You are not separate. What a relief to know that I am not separate from the divine. There can't be a greater relief than that. More of such verses are coming up. Shri Krishna is trying to train us to feel the sacred in the secular. From inspiration to application, your recent application was to follow your dharma. What is your dharma? In the most rigorous and amazing sense, that 20% of what you get, you give to support dharma. In this micro context, to support our earth. And I know so many preparations are being made for Navaratri. I just want to give you an idea relating to this. I went to business school, so I have this Vanik Buddhi. I'm always thinking in a business-like sense. For those who create a golu in their home, which is an icon of creation, those who facilitate rasa, an expression of enlightenment, like we will do in our Devi retreat, those who engage in Saraswati Puja, where you're appreciating knowledge, anyone who comes to this, you should charge them $5. Like an entrance fee. But where is that all going? To Devi. And if that's too bold for you, which it shouldn't, it's your home, at least give them a link on a small sheet of paper to our environmental campaign for them to celebrate Navaratri in an internal way. Here is your application for this morning. Tonight, we begin our course on practices to perfection. We will be exploring the final teachings of Acharya Shankara on how we can be egoless. 40 practices, 1 or 2 per week, all the way until May. I'm encouraging all of you to register for this. This is our largest class in terms of quantity and our most practical class also in terms of quality. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.